If you drive through northwestern Bowmanville today, specifically the area north of Concession Road 3 and west of Liberty Street, it looks like a standard suburb. You see new brick houses, paved driveways, and construction bins. It looks like this neighborhood was built yesterday. But it wasn't. We often think of suburbs as new places. We assume that before the bulldozers came, this was just empty space. But that isn't true. As we drive through these streets like William Fair Drive and North Glen Boulevard, we're actually moving over layers of history. We're driving over the exact property lines of families who settled here in the 1700s. We're driving just a few kilometers west of a World War II prisoner of war camp. And we're moving through a massive construction project that is currently fighting the clock. This isn't just a video of a subdivision, it's a look at what lies beneath it. Over the next few minutes, we're going to take a journey through the past, present, and future of this square mile. We'll find out why the school promised for this neighborhood is sitting behind a fence unfinished. We'll talk about the Jar Riot of 1942, and we'll look at why the streets curve the way they do. Welcome to North Bowmanville. To understand why this area looks the way it does, we have to look at the water. Long before there were cars, everything here was decided by the creeks. To our immediate west lies the Bowmanville Creek Valley. In the early 1800s, water was power. Mills were built on these creeks, and settlers moved inland from Lake Ontario to be near them. Imagine for a second that we could wipe away all the houses in this frame. If we were driving here in 1878, we wouldn't be on a paved road. We would be on Henry Marr's farm. Old maps show that the land in this specific area, Lot 9, Concession 3, was owned by the Marr family and then the Bunker family for over 100 years. That matters because of how developers buy land today. They don't buy it one house at a time, they buy entire farms. The reason a neighborhood ends where it does, or why a street suddenly stops, is often because that's where the old farm fence used to be. The shape of the modern suburb is actually a ghost of the old farm grid. While farmers were working up here, the valley down south was becoming an industrial powerhouse. Factories like Goodyear Tire and the Ross Can Company opened up. They brought jobs, but they also used chemicals that stayed in the soil long after the factories closed. So this town has always had a split personality. The clean farmland up north where we're driving, and the gritty industrial zone down south near the tracks. But the most incredible story in this area isn't about farming, it's about the war. Just a short distance to the east of these new homes, over near Lambs Road, is a place called the Jurylands. Most people know it as Camp 30. Originally, it was a boys' school, but in 1941, during World War II, the government took it over to house high-ranking German officers, some of the most dangerous men captured during the war. And right here in quiet Bowmanville, a battle broke out. In October 1942, the prisoners rioted. 4,000 German officers barricaded themselves in the mess hall. They didn't have guns, so they improvised. They armed themselves with hockey sticks, bottles, and jars of jam. The Canadian guards had to storm the building. They used baseball bats and high-pressure fire hoses to flush the prisoners out of the basement. It sounds like a movie script, but it happened right next door. It's the only major battle of World War II that was fought on Canadian soil. For years, that history has been in danger. The buildings were falling apart, and in 2025, the roof of the cafeteria collapsed. Just recently, thanks to federal funding, they found a way to stabilize it. But as you see these modern streets, it's worth remembering that the history nearby is fragile. Let's come back to the present day. You'll notice something changing in the architecture around here. The older parts of this neighborhood are all single detached homes. But in the newer phases, specifically North Glen Phase 5 near Bowmanville Avenue, the landscape is shifting.
High Castle Homes has introduced a 9-story condo building. North Bowmanville is running out of space to spread out, so now it's building up. But there's a problem. We call it the infrastructure gap. That's a fancy way of saying the houses are here, but the services aren't. A prime example is the North Glen Orchard Public School. It was supposed to open in September 2025. Families bought homes here because of that school. But due to delays with rooftop units and electrical services, the opening was pushed back. Instead of walking their kids to a brand new school, hundreds of families are currently busing them to holding schools. And then there's the traffic. The main road out of here, Bowmanville Avenue, has been under construction since 2024. The widening project isn't expected to finish until late 2027. That's the reality of buying into a new neighborhood. You're not just buying a house, you're buying a construction site for the next 3 years. So where does the road go from here? If we were to continue north past Concession Road 3, we would enter the future. This area is called Soper Hills. The rules for building there are different. The new planning rules say developers have to leave wide green spaces around the creeks. They can't just pave over everything anymore. They have to leave wildlife corridors so animals can move from the lake up to the forest. There's also a fight going on about the view. The land there has beautiful rolling hills. Planners want to design the streets so that everyone can see the valley, not just the people rich enough to buy the big lots. North Bowmanville isn't just a collection of houses, it's a collision of different times. It's a place where 1800s farmers, German prisoners of war, and modern commuters all share the same space. It's a place that is trying to figure out how to grow without forgetting where it came from. So as you watch this drive, remember, you're not just looking at a suburban development, you're looking at a living history book, one that is still being written, one brick at a time.